That's bullshit.
Breakfast.
Well, we are resuming breakfast.
Breakfast.
We're at Jan's.
We're at Jan's.
All right, you've gone on your escapade.
It was a good
Planet.
trip. It was really good for Liz. And I got to tell you, we rented a truck to take a couple chairs out and stuff to the kids, and it was a Ford 150 crew cab, but it was a hybrid.
It was a hybrid.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
How'd that work out?
Oh God, what a great truck!
Oh wow.
Oh, it basically got about 20 miles to a gallon, but it was so weird. You know, you just turn the key on and it's on.
Yeah.
You know, none of this firing it up and stuff like that. And then, a little bit later to charge the battery, and the engine will fire up and stuff like that. It was peppy. It was really fast on the start. I was real happy with that, and rode really good. Fords have always been a good riding truck.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. So, what was the cost of that rental
For 2 weeks?
for 2 weeks?
Well, it was actually 1 day less because we came in early, but the total cost was $785.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, think about
That's not bad.
Think what it would have cost to fly out there and rent.
Yeah.
So I'd rather drive because I know I'm going to have to fly someday for something.
Yeah.
I can live with that, but this kind of stuff, it was a great trip.
Wow.
It really made the difference. And of course, kids will say, well, let's go here and go there. And I'm like, great, get in the truck. Let's not put miles on your car,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because you have unlimited mileage on it.
Yeah, right.
Now, did you buy the rider, the insurance rider on it?
Nah.
You didn't do that?
I've done it in times, but I have full coverage on the Escape, so that covers it.
So your policy will allow you to get a
Yeah.
rental and
All of them in that way, if you've got full coverage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and we do on the car.
yeah, so that's all you do. Just make copies of your insurance so that you can take it if you're going to rent.
Yeah.
And just take it in there, and they'll want a copy of that for the agreement too.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
now, the nice thing about their insurance is, you could literally run it off a cliff and set it on fire and call them and say, I need another one.
Yeah.
And it's covered. But,
Reasonable people are not going to do that.
of course
but,
not. Of course not. And I don't know if I'm reasonable, but I'm not going to do it.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Is that got silverware in it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was really a great truck. What I wasn't used to was, going out to Portland and filling it up for $95. Gas was almost $4 out there. Now it was nice coming back because further south, the cheaper it got.
Cheaper, yeah.
But that was just the expense of doing it.
It is.
And it got really good fuel economy. A matter of fact, my old Ford, my 2001, still gets about 22 to 25 miles to a gallon. And it's not electric.
No, that's full of gas, combustible.
Yeah, it gets really good fuel economy. It always has.
Well, and Honda we had, it was kind of freaky too, because you come to a stop and the whole thing shuts down.
Oh yeah.
Just shuts down. You're like, no idle, no nothing. And then you take your foot off the brake and it uses that battery.
You're right. That's how this works.
Take off, and then and the deceleration, assists that charging of the battery.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That must be what that did too, because I noticed the engine would cut off as I'm decelerating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And I remember years ago, who was it? God, I can't think of the name. Guy wrote a book called Thriving on Chaos, and I can't think of his name, but it was the big business thing, you know.
I know the book you're talking about.
Yeah, and I can't think of his name, but anyhow, he did a video, and he was just going around the country, you know, identifying these companies and things that are going on and stuff. Like, he's the one that made mention that FedEx allowed its people to make decisions, fairly larger decisions,
Yeah.
at the lower level to get business done.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, this guy literally rented a helicopter to get some equipment that was in dire need at some mountaintop place or whatever,
Yeah.
to get it there because they couldn't get it with a truck. So the guy made this decision, and they backed him. And I thought, oh, that's cool. But the other one was out in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Some tech school out there they were working on robotics and stuff like that, and they built this car that ran on hydraulics. It was electric, and it had that feature where when you stepped on the brake, it created pressure, put it back into the accumulator, and build the pressure up in the accumulator, so when you took off,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, you know, he was just basically talking about, you know, you got to think outside of the box and that kind of stuff. But that, you know, but this was a really a good truck. And you could tell everybody at Enterprise, they were all proud of that truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was a pretty blue, and when we got there to pick it up, they were just finishing up washing it and everything. And the girl that took me out there, I thought I was going to get a Ford tour. She's showing me all this, and I'm like, and then she turned it on. I'm like, okay, what just happened here? And she goes, it's on. You'll have to get used to that. Yeah. Oh, and this other thing, I love this. It had driver's assist. Okay.
Oh, for parallel parking and things like that?
Well, no, for driving. Okay.
For driving. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, it had sensors all around this thing. Okay.
Okay, sure.
And so once you get on the highway and everything, the sensors pick up the two lines. Okay. And you could just let go of the wheel, and it, eventually it would just, migrate over to the side, and all of a sudden you get this symbol, the orange and then red, and then it literally pulls it back in for you.
Well, and they have cab cams that will see if you're nodding off and will set off alarms.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this didn't have that, but what it did have is after about 8 hours of driving, a little message comes up and says, would be a good idea to pull over and maybe take a break and have a cup of coffee. And I'm like,
stretch your legs.
Yeah. But this driver thing, okay. So once I got to playing with it and everything, and it was really nice when you're in construction and you're in kind of tight, it keeps you in your lane so that you don't, veer off and whatever, because, a lot of traffic together and stuff. So, so I got to playing with this thing, and I'd let it coast over to the side, because at first I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what's going on with the wheel here? Why is that doing that? Is there? It almost feels like your tires.
Tesla fly-by-wire.
It was almost like like a tire went bad or something. I mean, pulls you this way. So I'd let it go to one side and then pull me in, and I'd keep my hands off the wheel, and then it'd pull me back in. Well, after that, it would tell you, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good.
Big old red warning saying, get your hands on the wheel. It's what it'd tell you. And if you didn't...
Stop playing with me.
Yeah, if it didn't, all the music and all the CarPlay and everything goes dark. I'm going to turn this truck off if you don't get your hands on the wheel. I'm like... So
oh, that's just
it was really a nice feature, I thought.
That's too nanny for me.
I know. I'm like, I'd yell at it. You sound like my wife.
Too nanny for me. Dad, burn it. Oh Lord. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We ordered the same thing.
Yeah, they
Basically did, yeah.
I mean, my eggs are different than yours.
Yeah, you still have embryonic sac.
I like that.
Weird.
I got some silverware.
Yeah, you got some.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. But yeah, it was a great trip,
Oh, that's so cool.
and I'm really glad for Liz, because she needed it. She needs to be with her girls.
Well, I'm so glad you guys had a good time. And, you got to kick. What is Mike? Is it Mike or Rick? Tia's boyfriend?
Jim.
Jim. Got to kick them out of bed. And
Yeah, that was awesome.
we're here and get out.
Yeah. I'd get up in the morning, man, I feel sorry for you guys. It'll get better once we leave.
That's so funny. That was so funny. Yeah, Karen came with me one day. We had to go up to Hot Springs, and I told her, I says, I'm driving, and you're not going home until we deal with the critters. So you're going to help me on this. She didn't do anything. She just sat there and looked pretty.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure ain't us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First day, she had committed to helping me, right? I said, I need you to come in the event that I'm out of town or something, which I'm just trying to factor in any variable.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, so you know the routine. Well, first day, 8 o'clock rolled around, and I'm getting ready to head out to your place. It's too early.
She's telling you what the routine is.
Mm-hmm. Now, during the week, I understand that. She's at work at 7, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And you can see, thank you. You can see as we progress through the week how joyful your fur babies were to see me. It's like, oh, Unc's here, yay! I'm like, yeah.
They're all going, I hope it's wet food. I hope it's wet food. Aww.
And I would tell them every day, oh, it's dry food day. Oh, guess what today is? It's food.
Well, I know one thing. Those two stray cats that we picked up or ended up at our house, they definitely took on some weight. They must have been eating all day long.
Oh, well.
That's good, though.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those. Yeah, the first day I went down to the barn, and you'll see it. I see that Barbara Mandrell poster on your wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Sign.
I kept that in the video. What is that? Barbara Mandrell. No wonder it's down here in the barn. But I'm going, ooh, nice table saw. Ooh, look at that. Oh, wow. Okay. And I'm like, okay, you can't put that in the video because that's stuff in his barn. And that just opens up the door for any vagrant to come and
Any vagrant.
strap it on their back and go pawn it off. I says, okay, can't have that in there.
Well, you're welcome to use them anytime.
Appreciate that. Seabiscuit cracked me up because when is she a mayor?
Gelding.
Okay. waiting for me, and that tongue would come out
Oh yeah.
and lick in the air. And I'm like, oh my God, you want some? Oh, don't you, baby? Oh yeah, Unc.
Yeah, you just need to stand there for a little while and he'll show you what he's made of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was getting a kick out of that.
Yeah. So I think I told you I bought a bush hog from a auction.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that thing to use. Now this bush hog is made for. Let's go ahead and take that forest down. Oh my God, this thing is
And I made a comment on my first walk down to the barn. I'm going, oh, brother, you need a bush hog.
Yeah, I know. But my tractor's been down for a while and finally got it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But I took that thing out yesterday and started. I'm slowly getting things knocked down.
Right.
Holy crap, that thing just. And the blades are dull, but it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm definitely going to have to sharpen them up. But I just thought, well, we'll see what it does. And it did. I don't know if you need to sharpen them or not. They just
they're spinning so fast they could just be sticks.
Yeah.
Pieces of rebar.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, yeah, I got the stuff right by the house and down to the barn and stuff. Couldn't believe how tall that shit got.
I know. I'm like
holy crap.
You need to get that bush hog. And I commented that you had your tractor repaired and drove it back home.
I did.
Cracked me up.
I mean, it cost $212 to just take it to town.
That's crazy.
I'm like, come on.
That's crazy. Oh, we've got something we have to deal with. Our refrigerator in the house.
Yeah.
Pressure won't kick on.
Uh-oh.
So, it was 2 days ago, and I made supper, and after we finished supper, I go in the freezer to get ice cream. It is liquid. I'm going, oh man, what's that all about? And I noticed for a couple of days I haven't heard the compressor kick on or anything. And I told Karen this morning, so now I gotta go look for a new refrigerator. I'm gonna go check Ivan, see what they've got. But I told her, I said, I think what it is, these cool mornings, we've just been leaving the sliding glass door open, which is next to the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as the day progressed, it got warmer and warmer and warmer, and I think what was happening is that compressor was trying to compete, and it just burned itself out.
Very possible.
Yeah.
I'd recommend you go into Lowe's and look at their dent and scratch stuff.
Well, I have to have it delivered. I don't have the capacity to.
Well, they'll deliver.
No. Well, I don't need anything fancy. I want one that has an ice maker in it. I don't necessarily need a water dispenser. But Karen doesn't want a side-by-side anymore.
Oh.
I said, well, they make side-by-sides now. And when you open them up, there's like acreage of space inside there. But I only have like 40-something inches to play with as far as width is concerned.
Well, that's standard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is my Storm the Capitol jacket.
Was it bulletproof? Or?
No, all those Proud Boy guys were wearing jackets this color. The idiots.
Making a Proud Boy fashion statement. Huh?
I think so. It works good and it was free, so.
Oh, it was free?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nice. So, yeah, gotta look for a refrigerator.
Wish I could help you out. I have 3. One's a beer fridge, which there's no beer in it. That's out in the garage. Another's in the breezeway. That's our old one.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up changing out the ice maker. Guy, it was still under warranty. Guy come in and changed it, and that thing went out again. I'm like, screw that. And we got this LG, and I love that because it's got the little door where you can store stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your milk and things like that. Oh, that's
Right. Well, you know, Lynn and Retta, they bought a new refrigerator a couple of years back, and they just had so many issues with the ice maker on it. And, you know, a fella came in and replaced the you know, the machinery for it. And worked for a little while and then didn't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he finally just, like you, he's just like, I'm not going to mess with this anymore. And Retta, she likes ice so much. I mean, it's equivalent to her taking in air. That's how much she eats ice. They bought one of those. They didn't buy an industrial style ice maker that sits on the floor, but pretty good consumer level ice maker. So he fixed that problem. He said, I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Well, we have one of those too. It's not industrial level, but because, you know, when I looked at the ice maker, I know how much ice we go through.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's never going to hold up. And if you have anybody else, so I got this thing, and and it works good because if ice is low, I can take that out and put it in the utility sink and pull out the ice out of the ice maker and just pour it in there and put it back in the refrigerator, and it's full.
Oh, we're good.
You know, if I'm needing it, it works good.
Well, I've got something to show you.
Uh-oh.
Now the cousins want to get together and talk about genealogy and stuff like that. And at the Green reunion earlier this month, LaDonna, she set a date for the 23rd of October for everybody. And I know it's going to be mostly the girls. I don't know of any of the men cousins that are going to show up. I will, because she mentioned food. So, you know, I'm all about food.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, you know, Diane had given us each an envelope of her genealogy work. And we're searching around, Karen and I, searching around trying to find that. Can't find it.
I have it.
Do you have it? Man, let me make a copy of it.
No, just give it to you.
Yeah, because I can't find ours. Well, what I did find...
what's her name? Andrea gave it to me. It's a box full of Diane's stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, you can have it and do whatever you want with it.
Good, because I can't find ours, and of course, you know, I know she used Ancestry.com, but I can't tap into that. Anyway, I did come across some pictures. So,
there's only one that I'm interested in.
Mary?
Nah.
Which one are you interested in?
I'm interested in the one where Mom is holding me and we're on the coast.
Oh, on the coast.
And all you see is a shot down and a stream of pee going this way. I was so proud of that. Everybody loved that picture. You don't remember it, but I do.
Oh, I remember it.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that picture. But you know, when we were younger, we were, being Greens, we were definite stud muffins. You know that, right?
Were we?
Yeah, we were.
Okay, nobody told me that.
And here's a picture of me at the
jeez.
stud muffin.
I'm not even putting my glasses on.
Go ahead.
Look
Look at that.
God.
Is that stud muffiny or what? Now I want you just to take in a moment. You know, I'm wearing a cut off, half cut jersey, gym shorts. That's some stud muffiny right there, right?
The dude looks like he played in The Village People.
Oh, trust me, these pictures are going to go on this video.
The Village People. Oh, how'd you get that one?
I told Karen, I said, Joe's going to want that. I said, he ain't getting it until I digitize it.
That was at my cabin.
Pink t-shirt. Pink.
It was actually red. That just got faded so bad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He was so assured of his masculinity that he's like, yeah, I can wear pink.
It was pink.
I can sport it.
It was pink. Yeah, that was up at the cabin in North Dakota. Cabin was about 7 miles from Canada. Look at that tan, though. Mm.
I'm going to give you that picture, but I got to first digitize it. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at that stud muffin all tanned out.
Now get this. Okay. Nobody took that picture. I did.
Yeah. Was this a selfie?
That's how narcissistic I can be.
Oh my God.
Look at me. I'm a beautiful people.
Yeah. I'll be displaying that for all of our subscribers, all 10 of them.
Whatever. I have a couple other from that day. I put my camera on a tripod, and I had that old '86 Bronco. I love that truck, and I did a picture of me sitting in that. And, of course, I've got to get everything focused and everything, and then I'd hit the timer and jump in and sit and do my pose. Yeah, I was pretty ate up, I admit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had a great tan.
I looked at those pictures, I go, oh my God, what was wrong with us? We were stud muffins.
Yeah, we thought we were something. I loved that cabin, man. I didn't like the fact that we'd pull up a bunch of crap in the truck, and the kids would gone, because there were activities, things that could be done across the river in the park, right. And Liz would go whatever she'd do, and then I'd have to get the lawnmower out and fire it up and mow the grass. But once that was done, I had a big old fire ring in the front right next to the river, because our place was right on the river.
Right.
And I'd build a fire and kick back and drink some whiskey. It was my Walden Pond.
Yeah.
At night, all the Canadians are across the river in the park and stuff. So they didn't cause any trouble. But everybody was there. Every once in a while, just to kind of freak people out, I would take a piece of copper pipe and shove a piece of garden hose in there, and I'd get 4 or 5 of these made, and I would throw them in the fire, and it'd turn the fire green.
Oh,
blue-green.
Oh yeah.
Because it's off-gassing the superheated. Because once the hose catches on fire, it's superheating that copper, and you'd hear people, oh. I should have started dancing around it. And, Satan, thank you for this green fire. But I didn't.
It went with the environment, green trees, green fire.
Yeah.
Everything, go green.
This place was outside of Mohall, North Dakota. It was about 7 miles out on Highway 5, and the park belonged to the county. Okay, and the history of this park is it had been around since the 20s.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
and then Prohibition came, and that became a staging area for whiskey run out of Canada.
Oh, okay.
Because they weren't having a prohibition, but what was happening is they were shipping it down through North Dakota, and that stuff would end up in the park, and then they'd get things ready. They'd drive it down to Minot, and in Minot, if you look at Minot, there's a valley where the river runs, okay, and from the top, what they call North Hill, to South Hill, basically. You'd go down the valley and under the river. They literally had dug a tunnel from North Hill underneath the river and came up on South Hill. And what they did was they'd bring these trucks in. Thank you. They'd bring these trucks in with whiskey.
Do you need some coffee?
I'm good. I'm good right now. Thanks.
We'll help ourselves.
Okay.
They'd bring these trucks laden with whiskey. They'd drive them in there, and then they would paint it or whatever, and when they'd come out on the other side, it wasn't the same truck.
Oh.
And then all those trucks went to Chicago,
Oh, okay, sure.
and that's,
And then Al Capone's
Yeah,
group
yeah,
would
it's pretty much-
distribute it.
yeah, that was pretty much.
Oh. That would be. I'm like, oh, where's the camera?
But anyhow, the park, during Prohibition, guy was telling me, he says, there should be a Ferris wheel here. There was a golf course behind our house, or behind our cabin, up on the hill. He said, yeah, the golf course went all the way up around here, all the way. And, of course, it was sand greens. They didn't have green,
Right.
grass green.
Right.
Matter of fact, I've played on a few golf courses up there that were, up that far north, and they were sand greens.
I've never played on a sand
It-
green.
Yeah, you don't.
I had my fair share of sand traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't report that on your, your PGA score. But it was fun to go out there and hit some balls and
Yeah, sure.
and play. But anyhow, I was always looking for golf balls if I could, find one. But that many years they'd all been rotted and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I love that cat. Did you ever see that?
Never got to see
Okay.
a cabin. No.
I remember one.
I think Mary did.
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah.
did.
I remember one morning I bought this old beater canoe, and Liz and I were tooling around on the river there. It was real slow moving and stuff, and it was really funny. We're just kind of going along and everything, and there's turtles up on stuff like that, and on things sunning and stuff like that. It was in the morning, and I'm like, what's wrong with that turtle? And I'm pointing at it, and Liz goes, I don't know, there's something on it. And we get closer and closer and closer, and I'm not kidding you. I go, oh, that's my turtle. Somebody put with nail polish, put Joe on it. On the turtle. I took a picture, but I wasn't going to catch the thing.
Sure.
But yeah, that was kind of interesting.
It's so funny you mentioned turtles. Last time I was up the river doing a little fishing, I looked out and there's this tree branch. Those daggone turtles crawled onto that tree branch and just kind of balancing themselves on that branch, sunning themselves.
Did they lay on each other? Because I've seen them do that.
They were real close, and I didn't see any on top of one another, but I'm like, there was about 7 of them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, how'd they get up there? Grab on. I mean, they're kind of like T-Rexes, they ain't got much grabbing power, but yeah, bunch of turtles sunning themselves on these branches.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I think I got some pictures of it, actually. I did, actually. I filmed it. Got some pictures of it. It's crazy. Ingenious. I never would have thought that. I've never seen a turtle or a herd of turtles.
Is that what we call them? That's a herd of turtles.
Lack of better word. on a tree branch, and we're not talking a tree branch. We're not talking big one.
Yeah.
How do they scale up on that thing? I don't know. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Gotta go fishing again. Got your license yet?
Not yet. Oh, but while I was out there, while I was out there, we did some rummage sales and stuff, and I bought me a tackle box.
That's forward movement.
But nothing in it.
Well,
it's just a tackle box. I paid $1 for it, so I'm like, oh, I can afford that. And
your hooks are going to cost more than that.
Yeah. I mean, I've looked at tackle box, people selling, tackle boxes with stuff, and I'm like, ew. Kind of let that go a long time. Those worms are.
That one just kind of rusted into the
plastic,
man.
I don't know. I don't know what I need.
Who got Dad's tackle box? Was that Ted or David? I was talking to my nephew about that.
I have no idea.
I think it was Ted. Got Dad's blue tackle box.
I have no idea.
All of his worldly possessions and sentimental things. I just don't know how much he tried to pawn off. Oh, coon prick. Yeah, I could get $1 for that.
Coon's dick.
Mm-hmm. Fred never heard of anything like that. I said, yeah, it's a literal bone. I think that's where it came from, boner.
I'm not sure it's bone. It looks more like some kind of ivory or something. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Could be ivory.
I liked how Dad would, he'd sharpen the end and say, yeah, I got a toothpick, and he'd have them hanging in his pocket.
Well, they were curved.
Right, exactly. I got a toothpick. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth the time.
Oh, you don't have a toothbrush? There's a sweet gum tree over there.
No, black gum.
Black gum. Not
Black
sweet gum, black gum.
That conversation came up the other day.
No wonder he didn't have any teeth when he got older.
Yeah, well, he had it longer than Mom did.
This is true. Mom, I don't know when Mom had her bottom teeth extracted.
I can't remember not having them.
It was before I was born.
Yeah. See, she grew up highfalutin, got all the sweets and stuff like that. Dad got a sorghum cake.
I was just going to say, yeah, he had to, his sugar was sorghum.
Yeah, I remember him saying, oh, yeah, your grandmother used to make a really good sorghum cake. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
What we didn't feed to the cows. Remember those? Yeah, you remember those lick wheels?
Yeah.
That, had sorghum in it? Yeah, for the cattle?
That was their sweet feed at the time. It's amazing.
Let's see, what else happened while you were out gallivanting? I can't think of anything. Just existing from day to day. Trying to appease the women in the house.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I'm failing miserably on that.
So yesterday, I was out in my hill hole working on some stuff to list. Liz had gone to church, and I get this phone call. She goes, they're having potluck today. Get dressed. I'm like,
how come I didn't get the memo earlier?
Yeah. I'm just kind of like, well, okay, you want me to get something? Yeah, and I went to Walmart and picked up some kind of cake that nobody wants to eat, but there it is. And went. And it was, here's the reason I love potlucks.
Yeah?
Because it's everybody's version of food that I like, I mean, they had 3 different chicken spaghettis. And I'm
I
like,
could go to town on that.
oh my gosh, that is an ultimate comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
So they had that, and somebody made the green beans that like Mom used to make, cook the piss out of them, cook them until they're almost burnt, and then pour more water in and cook them again.
Yeah.
That kind of, holy moly, that
Are
was
you
good.
cooking beans or poke salad? What are you
And
cooking the poison out of them?
so that's what I like about them.
Yeah.
I like potlucks for that.
Yeah.
And so now I'm the joke because everybody's like, oh, we're eating, you're here. That's exactly right. But
yeah, I'm here for the food. I keep advocating that.
But the problem with that now I'm going to be a little skeptical because it seems like when they're having a potluck, there's some kind of meeting that I get involved with, and I have to sit there. Oh, you want to eat? Well, you're going to listen to me.
Just go to a soup kitchen.
I know. I used to hate that about the soup kitchens. I'm like, just feed these folks. They don't want to hear your crap.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, but anyhow, I ended up in church yesterday, and look, I know how
last time you talked, you said you were pulled onto a committee to do some kind of.
Yep, the last time I went, the last potluck, Connie Castleberry asked me if I'd go look at the sign out front because there's a new preacher, pastor.
That's what it was.
And I said, sure. She says, can you see if you can tell how they take the letters off and everything? And it was just vinyl. You just take heat gun to it.
Oh yeah, sure.
But I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this sign, needs to be replaced. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'll mention that. But so I came back in and, oh, by the way, they're having a meeting. And I'm like, So I sat down.
Your tithe is now 40%.
Yeah.
Not 15.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I sat down and waited, and then finally I said, hey, I was asked to take a look at the sign out there, and I says, we really need to, you really need to replace that sign. I mean, it's probably been there since '82, since the building was built.
It's time for LEDs. Come on.
Oh yeah, all that. Yeah. And next thing I know, well, we already talked about that, and you're on the committee. I'm like, no, I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm not. I don't contribute, but that doesn't matter. It's the typical, who's going to volunteer, and everybody steps back. And
you didn't get the memo?
Yeah. So this didn't happen this time because I kept my mouth shut. And I didn't have anything to add anyhow.
Smart move, yeah. Yeah.
But the signs are done, and I think I'm going to end up putting them in, which is fine because there's a lot of work that needs to be done to it. Again, like you said, take out those. I guess they're fluorescent. I don't know what lights they have in there.
Probably fluorescent.
And
if
put
they're
in
that old, yeah.
Yeah, put in the LED, and I'm thinking that they should run into the power and put an exterior outlet on the outside of the structure.
Be easy to do.
Oh yeah, that'd be real easy to do.
Yeah.
So anyhow, and I'd made mention that the top needs to be refurbished and need to put a undercoat.
Yeah.
Is what I'd use. I mean, that's what I use for anything outside.
From the UVs, yeah.
Yeah, and so anyhow, we'll see what happens.
See, you contributed.
And that's just the way it is.
Because we're greens.
Well, that's just the way life is. You got all kinds of people that want to do something, but they need somebody to step up to it. And that's okay. I'll fulfill my obligation.
That should buy you at least another 10 potlucks.
Well, I don't know.
I'd milk it.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Because.
And get this. So of course, I'm having to sit through everything, and the new pastor she's talking about something about commitment to each other and to your partner and stuff like this. And I just happened to yawn real big, and she pointed right at me and said, "Yeah, Joe." And I'm like, you got to commit to Liz and back her up and blah blah blah, and you too, Liz. And I'm like, she caught me.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the community. I like the folks. There's some really fun folks. And being raised in the environment that we were raised in, and me taking the deep dive into Christianity, and I learned a lot of things according to their Hoyle. But and it especially the history stuff, it sticks with me, And when they're so, I go to the when I walked in. The Sunday school class that Liz belongs to is in the open area where the kitchen's at. And so I brought in the cake and everything, and I walked out, and I says, "I want you to know, I brought a cake in. That's my buy-in to this."
Here's my Annie.
And then I sat down, and the lady that's teaching, she's just a great person. She's like, she just starts right in on me. And then someone else says, I'm like, "Hey, what's going on here? I just sat down." And she goes, "Well, I've been waiting for you." So, and they were discussing Jacob and Esau, and I said, "Well, that's an interesting story."
Yeah, Jacob and Esau.
And in their booklet, they were talking about why would Esau give up his birthright so easy. And there's speculation, and brought up the fact, well, maybe he was diabetic and was having a low blood sugar or something like that, And I said, well, it could have been, dying
Could have been that he was just hungry.
Well, he could.
And he liked his brother's.
Yeah. Well, his mother's food, which, yeah.
Jacob was putting it together.
Yeah. And but I says, the guy wasn't stupid. He knew where he stood. I just think he misunderstood. He underestimated his devious little brother, who, by the way, is, revered in Judean Christianity.
And
it's like, what?
Esau thought, I'll be able to get my birthright back. No, you traded that, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all horseshit in my book, but whatever. But anyhow, I got tag teamed, and I love it.
Get us some more coffee.
Yeah,
because we need it.
Yeah, we went to an Oktoberfest.
No. I like Oktoberfests.
Yeah. I mean, it was it had all the trappings, I mean, they had the beer hall area where you had all the entertainment, the papa and all that good stuff.
Lederhosen.
Oh yeah, lots of lederhosen.
Yeah.
And but their food really was.
Oh really?
Well, I mean, everybody's like, one guy says, "Oh man, they're oh God, what's it called?" No, I can't think of the name of the food. Schnitzel.
Yeah, the schnitzels.
Yeah, guy goes, "Oh, this is the best schnitzel I've ever had." So, okay, well, Liz and I kind of like got this and this, and we shared it and stuff. And the schnitzel sucked.
Oh man,
I'm like, come on,
Too bad. Well,
and me, I'm not interested in the rich German food, which is meats. Yeah. I'm interested in the cheap German foods, the folks that couldn't afford, meat, and then they came up with dumplings and sauerkraut and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. That was the stuff I looked for. Mm-hmm. But
I always gravitated to the various sauerkrauts.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there was in Minot, North Dakota, the state fairs there. And every year we'd go to the fair. Liz and I would go to the fair for two things. One was a free glass of chocolate milk from the dairy producers of North Dakota.
Uh-huh.
And so we'd go into there, get that, and drink it. And then we'd go to the Democratic Party's booth, which was a big booth, and they made a tub as big as this table, and about as tall as that, of what they called sauerkraut nifla, which is dumplings and sauerkraut.
Oh, wow.
And holy God, was that good.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, they literally put a ton of butter in it, and they cooked the sauerkraut with the butter, and then they did they put the dumplings in there. Oh, God, this was good. Not good for you, good.
Well.
And, and at that time, it was only $2 for a little thing of it, and I mean, I could eat 2 of those easy.
Yeah, sure.
And so that's what we did. That was the 2 things we were interested in. The rest of it I could care less.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a pain in the butt because we lived down by it.
Oh, yeah.
And when people came to town, they parked everywhere. Which is fine. I mean, I had a place to park, so I didn't worry about it.
I'm trying to think what the town is outside of Salem that was famous for the Oktoberfest down there. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'll have to reach out to Karen. Oh my God! We're talking the homemade schnitzels and sausages and from scratch.
Yeah.
Not God, just fabulous beer.
Yeah, I've they had an Oktoberfest beer that was it was delicious.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was brewed like they brew it in Germany. It's got a certain amount of effervescent, but not too much.
Yeah.
And I mean, I learned this in McKinney when Franconia was still selling their beer here. And I had their Oktoberfest, and that was absolutely hands down the best I ever had. And that's when I realized that's how the Germans drink so much beer, because it's not over-carbonated,
Right.
Oh my gosh, and now I don't know how
and room temperature.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain the Canadians. There's nobody on the planet, and that I'm including the Australians. Nobody on the planet drinks more beer or alcohol and handles it better than the Canadians. I have witnessed it many times.
I've never witnessed it, but I've seen how the Australians do.
Oh yeah,
And
they're good.
Boy, they can handle
They're good, but
their
man,
liquor.
Canadians, holy God. I guess when you live in the real middle of nowhere.
Yeah. You got to come up with some
You're
creative
gonna-
strategies.
Exactly.
Let's numb our life. Yeah. Let's numb our life.
I remember.
We have no life.
I remember Ross Lamb. They had made a visit up to Saskatchewan, because that's where Vi, his mom's family, was from.
Oh, okay.
Saskatchewan. And I remember him telling me, we're still in high school when they came back and everything. He says, "Oh my God, they've got their farm is so big that the guy gets on the combine and he cuts until the sun goes down, and then wakes up tomorrow and comes back."
Oh my God!
And I know it's exaggeration, huge, but
let's embellish a little
bit. But I'm thinking, when we moved up there, I'm like, yeah, I guess he's pretty close. I worked
flat.
When I got out of the Air Force. A friend of mine asked me to come out and help him with the barley harvest, and that was quite an experience. Now, you talk about things not changing, okay? Back in the day when they did the harvest up there, they'd pull a chuck wagon out there, you know, because they were hand harvesting everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
You know, there's a lot of calorie usage, you know,
Yeah.
there. But that, you know, translated over to when things got more mechanized. Okay, and so my job was to run a truck, you know, and take the barley down to the elevator, and you know, so I stayed the night with him. Got up in the morning, and his wife fixed us some cocoa wheats. You know, what do you call it? Cream of wheat. You know,
okay.
but this is it was cocoa wheats, they call it. Okay. Made by Cream of Wheat. Okay. Farna, I think they call it. But anyhow, so she fixed us that for breakfast, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm eating, we're talking, and piece of toast. And then her, you know, her husband goes, okay, well, let's go out and get things ready. Okay, so went out and got the truck ready and got the, you know, the combine was already out there. We got a bunch of things all together.
Mm-hmm.
And I says, okay, well, we're ready to go. He says, no, we got to have breakfast. I'm like, what? Didn't we have breakfast? He said, no, that was pre-breakfast. I went,
Pre-breakfast.
Okay. So I go in and breakfast. Okay.
Mom breakfast.
Yeah, mom breakfast.
Yeah.
And, you know, we eat. And so I go out to get in the truck, and I get in the truck, and I pull it up in front of the, God, I don't know why I can't think of his name. Her husband says, just pull up to the front of the house, and Eunice will bring out, you know, your lunch and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So I pull up, and I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm thinking I'm going to get this little lunch pail and everything. She comes out with a cooler, okay? And I'm like, I get out, I'm like, do you need help with that? No, I got this. I open up the door, she throws that thing up into the truck, okay? This is a grain truck.
Yeah.
She throws it up, 2.5 ton, and throws it up into the truck, and I says, and I jump back into the truck, and I just open it up, and I'm looking, and I'm not kidding, it is to the top with food stuff. And I looked at her and I says, so this is for, well, I can't think of his name, for us, right? She goes, no, he's got one too.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not.
There's snacks in there too.
Oh, she had everything in there.
Oh yeah.
Homemade cookies and, you know, just sandwiches and just, I mean, I couldn't believe
You should have taken that as a clue that this is not going to be easy work.
But it was. That's what I'm getting at. Things don't change. We weren't burning up any calories. I was sitting in a truck. He's in a combine. And I'm like, but that's just the way they've done it
That's
for
how
years.
she was raised.
Yeah.
She was raised that way.
And that's just how they did it. You know, and it all stems back in the day when they'd drag the combine out there and everybody'd bring the wheat to it, and they'd have the Stanley steamer with the belt and running this thing, and they're combining this stuff.
Feeding that stuff.
But
Feeding it into it.
I'm like, I even told her, I said, there's no way I could eat all this. Oh, yeah, you will. I'm like, I don't think so. And I didn't.
Oh, yeah?
There was just so much food.
She's like, oh yeah, we'll see you Wednesday. Well, but today's Sunday. Yeah, we'll see you Wednesday. You ain't getting out of that field.
It was interesting, though. They lived next to his parents' place.
Oh, okay.
They had 5 sections of land. Sections. That's 560 acres a piece.
Yeah, a section is 500 acres, right?
560.
60 acres.
They had 5 sections of land. Okay. I had another friend that had 5 sections of land. Actually, I think they had 7 sections. But anyhow, they had a trailer, and they lived right next to, mom and dad, his mom and dad. And so while I was there, at the end of that day, while I was there, let's see, I stayed 3 days with them for the harvest, the barley harvest. So the next morning, we didn't take off as early. And I was talking to his dad. He was down at the shop and everything. And I don't know why I can't think of his name. He goes, whatever you do, do not ask Dad to show you his motor, his one popper motors. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't say anything, but it came up, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, let me show you.
Oh, you opened the door? Okay, I'm coming through.
We went into this barn building, and there must have been 15 of these one popper motors, which is, back in the day, they used to use them for all kinds of things, to like run an elevator.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, he had them from this high to this high.
Oh, wow.
Big monsters.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, God, I wish I could think of his name. It's like he said, because he told me, he says, don't ask anything about him, because he will fire up every one of those, and he did. He took that little one, put a little gas in there, just in a cup of gas. Got that thing spinning. And he fired up every single one of those. And I can't think of it. God, I don't know why I can't think of his name. He walks in, he's like, never going to get anything done, you know. And then my second mistake was...
Dad's pride and joy.
Yeah. My second mistake is I asked him about this. It was a 57 Chevy pickup. 57? 56 or 7, but it had the 5 holes, which is, it had the little porthole, little side windows on the cab and stuff. And, you know, I knew somebody was looking for one of those. And so I was talking to my buddy, why I can't think of his name, I brain dead. And I said, your dad interested in maybe selling that truck? I said, I know somebody that might be interested in that. He says, he might, but if he gets it running, he won't.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, you know, asked his dad about it. His dad drug that thing up to the shop. You know, the gas was like 200 years old. I mean, it wasn't gas, it was varnish. And he cleaned that all out of the carburetor and everything, and he put fresh gas in. And so we were in the house getting ready to go, and all of a sudden we're standing there looking out this window, and this truck goes, and he parks it at the shop, and my buddy goes, he'll never sell it.
Nah.
So I went down there, and I said, so what do you think? Think you might want to sell that? And he said, nah, I don't think so. He didn't.
Seems like the son knew his dad.
Oh, he knew him very
well. Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know why I can't think. This guy was the best open sight shooter I have ever seen. He, if you walked into his house, in the back he had a place where he stored his guns, and he did reloading. He did his own reloading.
Okay.
Because this guy shot every day, and he only shot 300 Winchester Magnums.
Okay.
Okay, 300s, Winchester 300s. I think there's a Remington 300. Yeah, I can't think of it. Winchester. Anyhow, he had 2 gun cabinets with 8 holes in it, 8 places for rifles. All of them were 300s on both of them. So he had 10. He had 10 of these things, and he shot every single day iron sights. And I've never seen anybody shoot like that before.
That's skill.
And I told him, I said, well, you know, I got a scope on. You're a pussy. And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I am.
Yeah.
But,
you can't iron sight? What's wrong with you?
The one time I went deer hunting with him, we're hunting in this area, and so I started out this way. The way you do up there is you just basically walk the coulees, these little places where trees are down and trees are and stuff, and you just looking to get something to jump out for you, you know.
Right.
Well, I'd gone through this area and got about, I don't know, a quarter mile away from him. And I hear this boom. And then a little bit longer. Boom. So I come back. By the time I get back to him, he had shot a doe, a big doe, and he'd shot a smaller one. And he had deboned the smaller one and shoved it all up into the other doe. The meat.
Packed it.
Before I got back, he had deboned it and put all that meat in there, and then hauled it back to the house. He was a hell of a hunter.
That's skill.
Yeah.
That's skill.
But that was quite an interesting little deal. They lived outside of Kenmare, North Dakota.
I don't even know if I could even skin an animal anymore. I haven't done it in so long. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it all depends how you want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched videos where they take the deer, they cut the around the neck, they've got it hanging from the neck, and they pull it down a little bit, and then they cut everything on the legs. Just cut a line down the legs,
Yeah.
cut the leg, the feet off,
Right.
and then all the way down, and then same on the other leg, and then this guy takes a tennis ball and rolls it up underneath the skin, and I forgot how he connects this rope to it, and then gets on his little four-wheeler and just literally pulls the skin off.
Oh, jeez.
So that's one way to do it.
Yeah. I just haven't done it so. I was up at Lynn and Retta's Friday, and Retta's doing well. She got her one knee replaced.
Yeah.
And she's mending well. And I told her about you. I said, man, you just bounced back like nobody's business. But it's deer season right now, and he's already canned a deer.
Yeah.
He's a hunter. He's definitely all over that.
Not me. I'm done. I'm not going to do any more. Not going to do any more deer or anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather fish.
Well, you got to get a license first. I mean, all right. He's made progress. He's got a tackle box.
Yeah, and you know what happened? I broke.
Ain't even got a pole yet.
Well, I had a pole.
Yeah, but you went and sold it.
No. I bought another one from a rummage sale, and it was a good one. But I was trying to chase cats out of my shop.
That's right.
And I broke the tip off.
Broke the tip off.
But I've got this other one that it's a legacy piece that I think it's for catfish. It's for bigger. It's a bigger pole and everything, but I can always use that. I'll get another pole, but I'm not going to pay full price.
I'm telling you what, this little Zebco thing I've got. I mean, if I was to get a fish bigger than that, it's going to pull that string all the way out of it.
Just rip your little Zebco 202 out.
Zebco's just going to be zebbed. And but since I'm only catching them that big, or not at all, the minnows are eating the bait. It's stupid. Thanks. Come back and see us, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the time of year you want to go after those crappie.
Oh, there was one thing I did. My friend in Murfreesboro, my old client that I, told him, reach out to me. He's the one that PTSD.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was at his house the other day, doing something on his computer for him, and when I was getting ready to leave, he says, "Do you and your wife like dry roasted peanuts?" I said, "Well, Karen not so much, but I like snackadoodles when I'm watching a movie or something." He says, "Hang on, I've got a warehouse full of them, and my doctor said I can't eat them anymore, and they're planters." Now, I'm waiting. He goes into a back room. He goes into a back room, and he comes back out with 2 bags with 6 jars of dry roasted peanuts. And I go, whoa, dude, that's, I'm not going to eat all these. I gave some to Mark and Nova and gave some to Fred, and then as I'm leaving, he says, hang on. And he comes back out with a shrink-wrapped case of Planters peanuts. So I've got all these Planters peanuts. And I'm like, I think I should have brought some. I know you like them, don't you? I'll bring you some. I can't eat all this stuff. I can. But I'll have diarrhea for the next 8 months. Because I can't stop. I'll just nibble on them, and pretty soon the jar's empty. I'm like, no, okay. Anyway, so he offloaded all his Planters peanuts on me.
Cool.
And I thought, if we ever go fishing, I've already got a tub full of shelled peanuts ready to go in the backpack. But somebody's got to get a license and a fishing pole.
I remember back in the day when we all lived here, and deer season had come around, and I'm not really sure where this guy lived from where we lived. Anyhow, somewhere around the bottoms, got this older black gentleman used to raise peanuts.
Yeah.
Oh, and you could buy a bag. You could buy a big bag from him, but you could buy a bag from him. I think it was like $3 for raw peanuts. Man, I used to love to munch on those deer hunting.
Well, and Dad would take those raw peanuts and he'd roast them.
Yeah, sure.
Still in the shell. Yeah.
Do you remember him roasting? What do you call it? Crackling corn? No, it was some type of corn that he used to. It all turned out gray looking. He used to roast that up, and it ate really good. It was on the same level of what do you call them, nuts? It's corn. Man, my mind's gone today.
Hominy?
Well, it was probably hominy, but it's it's crunchy.
Oh yeah, the dried, like the Indian corn.
Well, it's corn nuts.
Corn nuts, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was on the equivalent of corn nuts, but it wasn't as big.
Right.
Corn nuts are hominy that's been,
Right.
fried.
Right.
But I remember him doing that. That was actually tasty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget the day that Dad said, we were driving back from Nashville. We lived on the Locksburg Highway at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what it was that caused him to do this. I don't remember. But he had one of those bricks of Cannonball chewing tobacco. And he bit himself off a piece of that. And he's driving and he just goes, hands it to me. I'm like, okay. Bite off a piece. Of course, he's spitting. I don't know the difference. Yeah. Green. I should have learned from the cigar, but I didn't learn anything. Dad's laughing. I think that's what he was intending.
Well, of course he was.
He's always good at doing pranks like that.
Yeah.
Good man.
I still use the, on little kids, get them to say, I'm a horse at last. I always thought that was funny. Because a kid's going to say, I'm a horse's ass every time.
Every time.
You got a kick out of that stuff.
And you know that Chris and Andrea finally made it up to Oakland and spread Mary's ashes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Well, brother, I got to go look for a refrigerator.
Well, I still recommend Lowe's. They'll deliver it for you.
Well, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look down here at items, see, because like I said, we don't need anything fancy. Just, the only Karen's like, we don't need no dead burn ice maker, water dispenser thing. Her only requirement is she would like to have the freezer on the bottom. She don't want a side by side. I'm on the, and I don't care about the water dispenser because I filter my water. Filter. But I like the ice dispenser. So I don't know. Being Poe, I'll probably have to take a 47% interest rate compounded monthly.
Now's a good time to look in the camera and tell Dave, C notes, please.
Hey, brother was up there visiting with y'all, and he didn't walk away with a Benjamin, and that's rather disappointing. That he didn't hold you to account. You're the one that brought it up.
Sad.
And
I told you, Dave. He's gonna whine.
Yeah, Joe told me that, and a tear came in my eye. We were driving here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty deep.
So if you want to shoot that over to brother, we'll be grateful. All right, we're out of here, folks. You have a blessed day, and we're full. We're good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care.